Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Friday. Today we're going to be doing pack 2 of the Agora Models release and build the Mercedes 300SL. Now to me it seems like it's been an age since we last worked on this, so let me show you what we actually did in pack 1 just as a quick review, and then we'll go on to pack 2. We've got the tyre that we completed and the wheel. We've got one of the brake discs by the look of it with the pipe coming out, the steering wheel. We already created the grille here. We have got some dials which look like this we created. We have got the dashboard. I believe those dials were at one time in that dashboard, and I did create this side of the engine with all the pipes. We have a couple of tiny things left over. We've got the stalks for the steering wheel. We've got this section, which I'm guessing is part of the steering column, and we've got this massive bonnet here. And the reason that I've left this till last is I made a mistake in the last pack, and that is this section here, which I'm just going to take out. I will put the tab back in. When we put this rod in, it needs to go into the frame there and then come out the other side like that. That's how this is meant to go. So just ensure that that's how that's going through when we push it through there. And when that's in, it should look like that. So you see, I leave my mistakes in, but I correct them as well on video. So if you have done that, that's how that needs to look. And that means we can now move on to pack 2. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link down here to the Agora Models website. You can get this all the way from pack 1, but without further ado, let's get cracking. So in stage 5 here, we're going to be doing the left bumper overrider, and we've got the full front bumper or fender there. Let's get this open. And this is what that is looking like. Lovely in chrome there. We're going to be putting the first left overrider into position. Now these are stamped left and right. You've got a little R just on this edge here. And on this one, we've got a little L. So this one is going to go on this side here. There's a locating lug in here. Get it all lined up so it sits flush in there. That's going to be held in with an MM screw. Now those overriders there are metal, which is why we're using a metal screw for this, and get that into place. Perfect, and you guessed it, we're going to do exactly the same for the right hand side one. Again, just line that up here, put that down like that, bit of oil, and get this one into place as well. I know, you're all screaming at me to use my part work upgrades, Matt. I'm pretty confident at the moment I'm not going to scratch it. Now we've got that, we want to take these supports. Again, these are stamped, just to let you know which ones they are. So we've got an L on here. The left support is going to be going in this side, with the shorter side going like that. So this is what way around this goes. And you've guessed it, we're going to be doing exactly the same on the other side as well. These are actually held in with HP screws. The instructions actually say MM screws, they're not, they're HP screws. So I've got one lined up here. Now you are going into plastic this time, so don't over tighten them, just enough to keep these supports into place. So that's all it needs. That's 2 in that side, do the same on the other side. Perfect, so they're now in place. And then the last thing to do is to put on the number plate that looks like this. The registration plate is just going to go through the front like that. Once again, these HP screws, just to screw that into place. And that is all there is to do in that stage. In stage 6, we're going to be doing the crankcase and the oil radiator. Check that out, that's one whole piece of metal. Excellent. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this little section here and the oil radiator pipe, which looks like that. This is just going to go into the side of this section, just like this. It should hold itself in. It's going to push it down like that. So we have got a hole there ready to screw something in. That's going to take a CP screw. This is a flange screw. I've got that here. That's just going to go down here to hold that pipe into place. Then this whole section that we've got here is going to go on to the side of this case. So we have got a little keyhole pattern there. It's going to go over the keyhole pattern just there like that. And that's going to be held in with an MM screw. Now I do still have one of those left over from the last stage. So rather than open the pack up for this one, I'm going to use that screw. Waste not, want not. And get that in there. Going into metal, I have put this in oil again. Excellent. Now we've got a cover to put on that, which looks like this. This has got some lugs, so it's just a press in. So line everything up here and then push that into place. Perfect. Look at that. I'm just going to prepare an EP screw now. Get this pack open. Load up my screwdriver because I'm going to be taking the oil filter, which looks like this. That's going to go just on this section here. So it pushes in just like that there. Whoops. As you can see, I'm just trying to hold it with my fingers there. And then held in with that EP screw from the other side. Get that nice and tight. And then that is the oil filter in place as well. Looking good. And then once again, I'm going to be opening the CM screws up here. And getting these ready because do you remember we created this in the last pack? It's now time to put this into place. So this is going to be going into the holes that we can see just in the center there. Just like that there. They're held in with those CM screws. It's amazing how we've been working on the engine, the steering wheel, the bonnet, the grille, the dashboard. We've pretty much been going all over the whole car. We haven't really focused on one section yet. But we are back to the engine now as we're putting these pieces in. Make sure that's in tight. And there you go. That's what that looks like. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 7, we've got the engine cylinder head in here. Let's get this out. So the first thing we're going to do is take the cylinder head and we're going to take the first manifold here. This is the one that looks just like this. Now this end here is going to go through this small hole here. The other one's going to go through this hole. So it goes inside like that. It's held in with a DM screw. I've already put some oil on this screw. It's a flange screw. And I'll get this into place. So one this side. And then I'll just put one in the other side. And that's in place. Then we want to take the other manifold here. And once again, DM screw to put in. So it's going just into the very end hole here. Let's get that lined up and get a screw in. Perfect. Just one more at the very edge here. So that's those two in now, looking like that. And then we've got these pipe connectors to put in. They just slot over the end. So they can be pushed in, one like this. And one on this side for the other side here. They can only go on one way as well. They are fitted with sort of like a keyhole pattern. Once we've done that, we can connect this black pipe just to the bottom of these sections here. So again, one this side and one the other side. And there you go. That's made one whole manifold system. That looks really good. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 8, we've got the engine intake hose. We're going to need this large air intake pipe. And I also need this flange, which looks just like this. This is going to go just into this end here, onto the lug there, held in with an EP screw. And boy, do we have a lot of screws in this stage. So screw this nice and tight, keep that into position. Once we've done that, we want to put the other side of this pipe on, which looks just like this here. So line it up, other way around, so it looks just like that. You heard it clip in then. We are holding this into place though with some EP screws again. So one here, and one on the other side. All we've got left to do then is the very top of that section. So this is what that looks like. This is just going to go on the end And finally, one more EP screw to keep that into place. This is the upper compression pipe. And there you go. That's in place like that. All we've got to do then is put the compression pipe lower, this section here, over the top. This goes in keyhole pattern, just there, held in with an FP screw. Again, this is a flange screw. It's going to go right down the centre here. I'll get that screwed in. Perfect. And that's seated like that. Put that to one side, and I now need the pipe that I've got here. This is the intake hose branch. This is the intake hose here. We're going to be positioning these together, just getting it round the right way. It's going to go this way round, and it's going to fit over the lug just there. So that's what the top looks like, and that's what the bottom looks like. Now this whole side can now attach to what we've created at the start. So this is going to go over the top here, just like that. And it's going to be held together with 2 MP screws. This was quite a monumental thing to build. To say that everything is a separate part here. Certainly a lot of detail. Perfect. The last thing to do then is to take this, which is the heat shield, which is going to go over this section just here. That's going to be held in with some HP screws. Line it up. Need 2 of these. I'm not pushing too hard down on here. I don't want to break any of these sections on here. Most of this is plastic here. All that's left to do is to open these CM screws up here. You're going to love this part. This is great. Bring over what we worked on previously, which looks like this. And I'm going to be putting this whole section here over the top of this. So this is going to go into the gaps, what we've got left, just there, like that. Check that out. It's held in with 3 CM screws. I am going to switch out my screwdriver now to the PH1. These are bigger screws, and I want to get these in quite tight. And this screwdriver will enable me to do that. So that's 1, 2, and just do the one at the end there. And that is all there is to do in that monumental stage. In stage 9, I'm going to be doing the cylinder head cover and the distributor. Let's get this out. So the first thing I'm going to need is the distributor base, which looks like this. Taking over what we just created in the last stage, this section here just slots into the end, like that. It's going to be held in with a CM screw. Get that all the way in. Now I'm going to be putting the base of the distributor just on top of this. That's held in with an EP screw. Let's get that all the way in and make it nice and tight. Needs to be orientated in that sort of direction just there. And then when that's in place, I can now put the distributor top on top here. It has got a shape, so it can only go in one way. And I'm making sure I'm pushing it from the bottom and the top, so I'm not putting any undue pressure on just this section here. Take the cylinder head cover now. That's going to go over the top of this whole section here like that. And that's held in from the underside here with 2 MP screws. Let's get them in. One this side and one on the other side. We've got some oil filler caps to go into the holes at the top here. And these are just push-ins. So if I push one in, you get the idea of how these look. So that's 1, 2, and 3. There you go. They're all in place. We want to take this whole section now. We're going to be putting it onto the points just here. So this is going to look good. Making sure it's round the right way. It's going to go this way round, just over the points that we can see just there and there, like that. Excellent. It's held in with CM screws. This is actually amazingly hard. I managed to get one in, but yeah, it's not easy. You do need to try and... Let me get this in first and I'll explain what I've done to get this in. That was hard. Let's use this screwdriver now to do this one inside. Hard to get a screwdriver in here as well. Making it nice and tight. You do want to make sure that the distributor goes outside the lip. That's probably what's going to restrict it, but that side is now in. But boy, that was really hard. So let's put that to one side. Okay, the next thing we need is this cable run here, or this cable casing. I'm going to be putting these spark plugs in. Now they're going to be going in this way. So let me just put one in and show you what this looks like. So it looks just like that. I've got two more to put in along the side here. So on the flat end of this cable casing, I've got this single cable to put on. So that's just going to go on here. Get that on. Make sure it's all the way down. And on the other end over here, I've got this big nest of cables here. So get that one on as well. Perfect. So that should now look just like that. Bringing over what we've been working on previously, I'm going to be plugging each of these spark plugs here into the holes along this edge. So going to need tweezers for this. Let's get them all in. I can tell you now, they are going to need some glue. So I'm just going to coat the ends of all these spark plugs in some glue. They're not going to go anywhere. And there we go. I'm just going to hold them for a second. And that's all the spark plugs in place. I'm going to be plugging all of these top cables here into the top of the distributor. Let's see how these look. And when that's in, they should look just like that. That was fiddly. Just ensure that this cable guide here goes into the holes at the top. That will keep this in place and these in place for when you put the pipes in. Looking good though. I've got one more pipe to put in, which looks just like that, which is just going into the hole just here. And there we go. That's that pipe in there as well. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That was a crazy stage. So the last stage of this pack, we're going to be doing the alternator and the water pump. And that means we're going to be connecting a lot of parts together here. So we're going to be taking the dynamo, which looks like this. The ventilator disc, which is going to go into the end just here like that. Then we've got a stop washer, which goes on like this here. It's going to create a pulley, this one. And then a spacer, which goes on top there. And then we're pinning that in with just the pulley, which is going on the other side here. So once they're all together, as you can see, it makes a pulley just at the end, holding all of that in with an MP screw. All the way down the top, make that nice and tight. Excellent. So now, into the end of the alternator, I'm going to be plugging the water pump. So it looks like that. And then both of these sections here are going to be going into this casing just here. They are keyhole pattern. This is going to keep everything in place. Like that. As you see, it comes out the bottom there. Take the engine block, and again, using the keyhole pattern, this is going to be sitting just there. And it's held in from the other side once again with MP screws. Very hard to line that up, that was, but I have got it in. Just making it tight now. There we go. That's in place like that. Now this is going to slide into the cavity that we've got in there, like this. Make sure that it's completely aligned in here. Perfect. And it's going to be held in from the other side with MM screws. Just into the two holes that you can probably see just there. And once that's in, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. That was crazy. I didn't give that enough respect. I thought that was going to be a nice walk in the park, but it was far from that. But as you can see, it's coming together. Definitely a tricky stage. Definitely a tricky stage. I thought, I mean, look, the recording time of this is just over an hour. So you can imagine some of the problems that I had with that. The edited version is probably just over 10 minutes. Anyway, look, it does look really nice. Look at this engine. With all the pipe work and stuff. And I love how the cables have been routed round. Very clever way of doing those cables. But there you go. If you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description. You can get it all the way from pack 1. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.